Every single kid in the entire room turned around. I jumped up, and I could feel the beginnings of what my dad calls my body blush. I feel like I'm going to burn up, and my whole body turns red and blotchy. Even my scalp. It's not a pretty sight. The guy whose lap I landed in started handing me my books. One of them was my pink self improvement book. Thank goodness he hadn't looked at it. His hand brushed against mine as he gave it to me. I looked at him for the first time. My mouth dropped open. He was gorgeous. He had huge green eyes and dark brown hair, just like Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is my favorite actor. I have a poster of him that hangs on the ceiling over my bed. That way, he's the last thing I see before I fall asleep. So sometimes I dream about him. It's a proven fact that you can make yourself dream about stuff if you think hard enough about it, right before you fall asleep. Everyone in the room was laughing except the gorgeous guy, but he did smile, and then he looked at me as I started to blush again. "Hi," he said. "I'm Alec." His voice made my stomach do a major flip flop. I wanted to tell him my name too, but then the second bell rang. I dashed out of the room and ran up the stairs to 403. I sat down in the first empty seat I saw. Last seat, last row. I opened my notebook and tried to look busy. All of a sudden, I looked up. You know how you can feel when everyone is looking at you? Well, everyone was looking at me, including the teacher. "Say here," the girl next to me whispered. I remembered her from fifth grade because she bought in these really cool Indian headdresses for our Thanksgiving plate. Her name is Allison Cloud. She's a Native American. That's what American Indians are called. I remember she had explained that to us too. That was probably the most I've ever heard her say all at once. She's very quiet. "Here," I finally blurted out. "I'm glad you finally decided to join us, Sabrina," the teacher said. But she didn't sound glad at all. As I explained to the class before your arrival, she paused before and after she said the word arrival. I guess she wanted to make me feel even more embarrassed than I already felt. And it worked. I felt the body blush coming on again. It doesn't really take that much to make me blush. "My name is Miss Munson. This year I plan to teach you the fundamentals of mathematics that you will carry throughout your academic careers." I started to tune out at this point. Math was not going to be part of my future. Great actresses didn't need to know math. They have somebody who takes care of all their money. There was no way I could believe someone like Cher knew how to round off numbers. "Sabrina," Miss Munson continued in her icy voice, "are you still with us?" "Yes," I mumbled. Everybody looked at me again. "Well," Miss Munson asked. I thought her voice was icy before. It sounded positively frozen now. I looked at her blankly. "I asked you to round off the number 2.579 to the nearest whole number." I thought to myself, 2.479. 4 is less than 5, so it must be 2. It's got to be 2. Wait a minute. I bet it's a trick question. "Sabrina, is it 2 or 3? Miss Munson demanded. I panicked. All eyes were on me again. I wasn't so sure it was 2 anymore. "2, I heard Allison whisper softly. "2, I said loudly. "That's right," Miss Munson said. She sounded surprised. "And how did you arrive at that answer, Sabrina?" "I just knew," I said without thinking. "There is a logical method to arriving at that answer, and that's what we will be learning this year," Miss Munson explained. I looked over at Allison to thank her, but she had her head buried in her math book. Allison is very exotic looking. She has this totally straight black hair that she wears in a long braid to her waist. It's the kind of hair that never, ever frizzes. I have this curly auburn hair that frizzes at the least sign of rain. After what felt like forever, the bell rang. I could tell that math with Miss Munson was going to be total torture. "Thanks, Allison," I said as we stood up to leave. She turned around and smiled. I had to look up at her. Wow, was she tall. She could be a model. She's so tall and pretty. Lots of actresses and models are really tall, or at least taller than I am. I'm 4 feet 10 and 3/4 inches, but I'm still growing. And besides, both my parents are tall. "What do you have next?" I asked Allison. "Social studies," she said softly. I looked at my schedule card. Oh, I have band practice. I said, I better hurry because I have to go to my locker to get my clarinet. I don't really love the clarinet, but at least I'll get to march in the homecoming parade this year. It's not exactly the way I wanted to march in the parade. I would much rather been a flag girl. They get to wear those really cute short kilts, but my family was on their annual fishing trip where they had flag girl tryouts in August. No matter what I said, my father wouldn't cancel the trip or let me stay behind. So I didn't get to be a flag girl. Let's face it, everyone watches the flag girls, not the clarinet players in the marching band. I bet lots of great actresses started out as flag girls. Allison and I walked into the hall. Allison paused in the middle of the corridor. I have to go this way, she said softly. Okay, I'll see you later, I called out over my shoulder as I ran off toward my locker.